Joining us now live is Brad Bowman, director of the Center for Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Sir, thank you so much for being with us here live.
Thank you.
And first, President Trump said today the U.S. operation, it could last 4 to 5 weeks, if not longer. What are you anticipating moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's important for Americans to understand the scope of what we're witnessing with Iran. In the first 24 hours, the U.S. Central Command said that U.S. forces had hit more than 1,000 different targets, 1,000. So if you're thinking back to the June 12-day war, that was one mission and 3 targets. We've hit 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours. So the objectives here, as stated by the president and reiterated by Secretary Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff this morning, and again by Secretary of State Rubio as he was coming out of a briefing with senators on the Capitol Hill, was that we're really focused on their ballistic missiles because there was concern that Iran is sprinting to build more ballistic missiles so that they could create a conventional shield behind which they would advance their nuclear weapons program. And I'll end with this. If you look at the April war, they launched 120 ballistic missiles, April of 2024, and then October 200. And then in the June 12-day war, it was over 500. And now they surpassed that in less than 48 hours. So concerns about Iran's ballistic missile program are real.
Mm-hmm. And we know today President Trump said this was our last best chance to strike to eliminate the threat posed by Iran. Of course, both countries were in the midst of talks. Why do you think the president decided to attack now?
You know, I'm not a psychologist. I won't try to read his mind. But, you know, he warned the Iranian regime to not hurt the protesters. And then the regime proceeded to shrug and then murder them by the thousands. Some estimates are over 30,000. So when the president of the United States speaks like that and is so clearly and explicitly blown off, there's a personal and political interest to act. And there's also a national security act in some way. That doesn't mean everything that follows is wise or prudent. But when the American president speaks and then they proceed to murder Iranians by the thousands, he had to do something. He went into negotiations, tried to get a good deal, but the Iranian negotiators refused to negotiate in good faith and refused to relinquish their nuclear program.
You know, Brad, we've already seen counterattacks. We've seen a ripple effect already through the region. Talk about the proxies Iran has and threats for sleeper cell activity.
Yeah, Iran, you know, since 1979, when they overthrew the previous Iranian government and took those American hostages, which your older viewers will remember, their specialty has been terrorism. They love to attack others via terror proxies while they could avoid the consequences. Obviously, after the barbaric attacks on Israel on October 7th, those terrorist proxies in the region, many of them have been degraded. But let's be clear, Iran has a global terror network, some of which goes even into the United States. So as they get weaker, as they get more concerned about their survival, I suspect they will use everything they have at their disposal, and I think Americans should be wary.
Do you think at this point the world is safer now that Iran's supreme leader has been taken out?
I think I am going to shed a tear over that despot who's responsible for the murder of many, many Iranians and hundreds of Americans. I think we're in a period of danger here. The world will be much better off if the Iranian people finally have a government more interested in their welfare than the export of terrorism.
All right, Brad Bowman, director of the Center for Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you so much for joining us with your insight.